In the chilling expanse of the Cold War, the skies over Eastern Europe were a chessboard of lethal intent for the United States and its NATO allies. Penetrating the dense air defenses of the Warsaw Pact nations wasn't just a challenge, it was a critical necessity, especially for delivering tactical and strategic nuclear strikes deep into Soviet territory. The U.S. military poured resources into developing aircraft capable of breaching this formidable wall, but the Soviet Union was relentlessly fortifying its aerial fortress. By the early 1980s, their integrated air defense network was arguably the most sophisticated on Earth. It boasted revolutionary systems like the highly mobile S-300, paired with the long-reaching S-200, less mobile, but capable of engaging targets a staggering 300 kilometers away. Backing these giants were layers of shorter-range defenses, including the cruise missile-killing Tor M1 and the versatile Buk M1. Despite this iron curtain of steel and radar, America never stopped dreaming of reaching the Soviet heartland. Pentagon strategists devised daring plans for slipping unnoticed through enemy airspace. Yet, Moscow was no novice. They countered with ever more effective defenses, earning the Soviet Union the undisputed title, King of Air Defense. What were these counters? And how did this deadly game of cat and mouse play out? One American strategy involved unleashing large formations of supersonic bombers, optimized for hugging the Earth. The B-1B Lancer, flying low, made them difficult targets for long-range SA-MIS and even early Soviet interceptors, which struggled with look-down, shoot-down capabilities. This marked a shift from earlier concepts, like the ambitious B-70 Valkyria, a Mach 3 high-altitude speedster designed to outrun defenses. But the high-flying B-70 concept had already met its match, the Soviet S-200. This beast could not only swat targets from 300 kilometers away, but its powerful radar could detect aircraft out to 600 kilometers and reach altitudes exceeding 45,000 meters. It wasn't just a bomber killer. It had potential against ballistic missiles and proved deadly even against fighters, as Syrian S-200 demonstrated by downing both an American A for Skyhawk and an Israeli F-16. Furthermore, the proliferation of potent shoulder-fired missiles, manpads, deadly to low-flying aircraft, began to erode the survivability of bombers like the B-1B hugging the terrain. Other ideas surfaced: could attack helicopters, bristling with advanced electronic countermeasures, disable Soviet radar and SAM sites from low altitude. The idea was quickly dismissed. The vulnerability of helicopters penetrating deep into heavily defended Warsaw Pact territory made such missions borderline suicidal. A seemingly smarter path emerged: stealth. The revolutionary F-117 Nighthawk, the world's first operational stealth aircraft, took its first flight in 1981. Surely, this ghost-like jet could slip through undetected? Not so fast. The Soviets understood radar technology intimately. They deployed systems, including those operating on very high frequencies VHF, like the Nebo series, such as the 55G6 Natel. VHF radar, with its longer wavelengths, proved surprisingly effective at detecting stealth aircraft, especially when the wavelength approached the dimensions of the target itself. Stealth wasn't an invisibility cloak. Against the right kind of radar, it offered reduced, but not zero, visibility. The expensive American advantage was being challenged. Did America give up? Far from it. Perhaps the most blunt strategy involved leveraging sheer, overwhelming force. Old, reliable B-50 to Stratofortress bombers, neither supersonic nor stealthy, would be armed with tactical nuclear standoff missiles. The AGM-69 SRAM short-range attack missile, first fielded in 1972, over 1,500 SRA-MIS were built. Each carried a devastating W-69 nuclear warhead with a yield of up to 210 kilotons, 14 times the power of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The plan was chillingly simple: launch waves of B-52s. Even if the bombers themselves were vulnerable, they could unleash their SRA-MIS from 150 to 200 kilometers away, traveling at over Mach 3.5. The SRA-MIS were designed to overwhelm Soviet defenses through sheer speed and numbers, obliterating SAM sites and command posts with nuclear fire. Before the B-52s entered the most dangerous zones, Imagine dozens of B-52s releasing potentially hundreds of these tactical nukes in apocalyptic rain, targeting Soviet air defenses. But the Soviets had an answer for this brute force tactic, an apex predator designed specifically to hunt down bombers and their deadly payloads. The MiG-31 Foxhound. Entering service in 1981, the MiG-31 was a quantum leap. It was the world's first operational fighter with a phased array radar, capable of tracking multiple targets simultaneously. It could sustain supersonic speeds Mach 2.35 plus for extended periods, fly incredibly high over 20,000 meters, and cover vast distances. Armed with powerful R-33 long-range missiles, the MiG-31 was tailor-made to intercept incoming bombers and cruise missiles before they could launch their weapons, forming a near-impenetrable shield across the vast Soviet North. After the Soviet Union's collapse in 1991, Russian air defense forces faced lean years. Yet, Moscow clawed its way back, rapidly modernizing. Today, they present a renewed challenge with systems whose reputations precede them. The formidable S-400, Triumph and the S-300V4, both optimized to engage targets like the B-52 and B-1B at extreme ranges around 400 kilometers engagement, 600 kilometers detection. Looming on the horizon is the S-500 Prometheus, boasting even greater range, potentially over 600 kilometers and specifically designed to neutralize high-value assets like strategic bombers, with reaction times measured in mere seconds. But the U.S. now fields advanced fifth-generation stealth fighters like the F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning II. Can Russia's S-400S and S-500S truly track and destroy these elusive aircraft? Military analyst Michael Kofman notes that countering stealth is now central to Moscow's air defense strategy. Their modern network integrates advanced radars operating across different frequency bands, multiple SAM types, and interceptor aircraft into a highly automated, layered system. Russia has unveiled specialized anti-stealth radars like the Struna-1 Barrier E. This bistatic system separates its transmitter and receiver, making it more sensitive to faint radar returns scattered by stealth aircraft and resistant to anti-radiation missiles. While limited in range around 12 kilometers and altitude, systems like Struna-1, networked with long-range surveillance radars, could potentially detect and cue weapons against stealth fighters entering defended airspace. The threat is serious enough that NATO planners worry their expensive stealth jets could become flying targets. Russia's enduring status as an air defense superpower isn't accidental. It's a direct response to the persistent threat posed by the world's most powerful military. Today, Moscow faces the specter of America's prompt global strike concept, the ability to launch rapid, conventional attacks anywhere on Earth using ICBMs, submarine-launched missiles, future hypersonic weapons, and perhaps even orbital platforms. The deadly chess match in the skies continues. As threats evolve, Russia must constantly innovate to maintain its formidable shield. The question remains, what technological leaps will Moscow need next to counter the challenges of tomorrow?